Ready? Maria's haircut. One spring day, Maria the sheep stood by the pond in Old MacDonald's farmyard, gazing sadly into the water. "What is she doing?" whispered Doris the duck to her friend Dora. You don't often see sheep near water." Meanwhile, ducklings were swimming across to see who the visitor was. "Sheep don't eat ducklings, do they?" asked Dora anxiously. She was not a clever duck. "Of course not," replied Doris. "They are quite safe with Maria." But just then Maria gave a big sigh that she blew such a big sigh that she blew the ducklings right across the pond, and they had to be rescued by their mothers. Old George the horse couldn't bear to see another animal on the farm unhappy. He clipped Cloth across the yard and rubbed his big head against Maria's woolly back. "What's the trouble, my dear?" he asked. "Has your lamb run away again?" "No," sighed Maria. It isn't that. Just look at me." Old George looked carefully at Maria. "Well, you do look even more, wonderfully woolly than usual," he said gallantly. "I look a fright," said Maria. "My coat should have been trimmed weeks ago, but Old MacDonald seems to have forgotten." He can be a little forgetful," said Old George. "I'll speak to the other animals and see what they suggest." The animals were most interested in Maria's problem. "Perhaps I could nibble her coat," said Percy the pig, who would eat almost anything. A general chorus of disapproval greeted this idea. "No, we must remind Old MacDonald to give Maria a haircut," said Poppy the cow. "Old MacDonald is always so busy," added Maria the hen. "I don't know how we can make him notice Maria's problem." That gave him my idea. I'm so bad. That gave Poppy a very good idea. "No," she mooed. "It's Mrs. MacDonald that noticed things. Perhaps you should do some nibbling after all, Percy." So Percy did a little nibbling. Then the heads scurried away with the tufts of wool in their beak and a determined look on their faces as they went searching for the farmer. When Old MacDonald went into the farmhouse for his lunch that day, Mrs. MacDonald threw up her hands in horror. "MacD!" she cried. "You're covered in wool. Don't bring all those fluffy bits into my clean kitchen. It's also obviously time those sheep were shorn." The very next day, Maria's haircut was the talk of the farmyard, and she and her friends turned happily around, looking as smart and stylish as any sheep you ever seen. Just a quick story today, because my mom's about and such, but I promise to give a longer one tomorrow. I'll see you soon, alright? Next time it will be longer.